Dear brothers and sisters, um, sometimes we do have pains in the body. Physical pains come because of our body not working well physically. So the key is to be able to focus on the pain and the difficulty in the area where the pain is coming from. Let's say you have some problem in your spine. And so if there's trouble in the L4, L5 or something else, then you need to try to do the exercises which will help you relieve that pain. So sometimes when you sit in a certain pose, in which it might get painful to you, then the key is to change the pose and try some other pose, because sometimes the way we sit is kind of stresses and strains that come in the body. So I would, if there is pain, if I'm meditating, then I would change the pose, try another pose, so that you relieve the area from where the pain is coming. And by trying sometimes different poses, you'll find one in which there won't be any pain. Mostly pain is associated with some misalignment or something. You could also have some pain in the body when there's some gas problems. And they can be fixed by making sure that your digestive system is well. So the key is to get to the source of a problem and try to resolve it at that level. But as you meditate, if there is pain in any pose that you're sitting, then I would change the pose, try another pose, and hopefully find one which would be pain-free. Receptivity comes in our life when we have faith in God. So the key is to get to that state where we realize that we are under God's care. When we get to that state where we have faith in God and we have devotion to God, then there is nothing to worry about. And then we are receptive to anything that comes in our life. Generally what happens with a human being is that when things are happening which are in tune with what we would like, then we're very happy and we feel everything is going on well and there's nothing to worry about. But as soon as we have something happen which is contrary to what we expect, then we're devastated. And we feel, how can this happen to me? Or God is not taking care of me, or why did this happen? And we get into that mental state where then we are not receptive to the will of the Lord. So those words like sweet is thy will, or in Punjabi it's like tera bhana meetha lage. So sweet is thy will are not words that we just listen to, these are words that we need to believe in. So we should realize that whatever is right for us is happening in our lives. Sometimes in our life we get to a state where we think everything is going wrong. We could have a financial problem, we could have a physical problem, there could be a relationship problem, there could be other difficulties in life. What we need to realize is that we are unaware of the karmic load that we have with us. And so that needs to play out too. So those who have faith in God, they know that whatever is happening to them is for the highest good, whether it's a physical sickness, whether it's a financial problem, whether it's a relationship problem, that these will pass away too. So those four words, this too shall pass, is what we need to believe in. And when we have faith in God, then we are going to be receptive at all times. So to be receptive 24/7, our faith in God needs to be strengthened. Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj would often say, if you love me, keep my commandments. And the commandments were very simple. And he would say, meditate, meditate, and meditate. And so for us to be able to experience the love of the spiritual masters, we need to be focused on our goal. The goal of each and every one of us is the same, and that goal is to be one with God. And to be able to get to that goal, the process that is used is meditation. And so meditation becomes a key part of our existence. And as we practice meditation, because meditation is the practice, and meditation is what gets more better and better as the practice gets better and better. There are improvements in our travels on the inner planes. And so, for us to be able to experience the love of the great masters, it's very important that we be able to put the tenets of the path in our life. An ethical life, life of truth, a life which is non-violent, a life in which we are helping and caring, of selfless service, a life of humility, a life of love, a life of compassion. Those virtues need to be inculcated in our being. And as we inculcate those virtues in our being, then on a daily basis, to be able to find the time to meditate. As Sant Rajinder Singh Maharaj said, we should take 10% of the daily time for our spiritual practices. And so that's about 2.5 hours a day. So we need to be able to find that time for our spiritual practices. And as we do that, then we'll be able to get to our goal, which is not only experiencing the love of the spiritual master, but experiencing the love of God. Because it's that love of God which then pulls us out of the shackles of the mind and puts us on a journey back towards God, so that the very purpose for which we came into this world, which is to have a soul merged in God, would happen in this very lifetime. Any meditation, whether it's on the divine light or divine sound, gets better as our concentration improves. So the key is to be more concentrated, so there's no distractions. And so we need to be as focused as we can in our spiritual practices. So the key is, like as we sit down to meditate on the sound, that we get to that level where, for one, the thoughts are not bothering us. Secondly, when our focus is in front of us, our intent is on listening and not on watching. Even though there would be some light that will also come with the sound. Our attention should be on experiencing the sound. Sitting properly in a pose which is convenient. If it's difficult for you to use the thumbs, you can use earplugs. The results are the same, so that you're more comfortable. Practice is what makes us get better and better on being able to experience the sound within. So I would say regularity in our spiritual practices to hear the sound, intent with focus, so that we are in a state where we can connect with the divine melodies within, is the key to making that practice better. What is important is to just think about this example. There was the World Soccer Cup which happened recently, and many in the West are familiar with soccer. Those of you familiar with cricket, there's some cricket test matches going on. As you go to high school and college, you have games that we will play. So the players who play in the game are not just coming just like that and to the game and playing there. They practice many hours before they come to play the game, so that they can play the game well. So it's the same thing with meditation. When we sit for meditation, then we are playing a game. That's the time when we are performing. Okay. So before you perform, you need to practice. It doesn't happen that you walk in and it is too late. You have to spend the time, you have to practice again and again and again. And so, what is the key for success in our meditation? The key for success in our meditation is that we don't get any thoughts. Because as soon as we get a thought, we get distracted. So we need to practice so that we don't get thoughts when we meditate. And this is why we are asked to do Simran during the day. The repetition of the 5 holy names of God is called Simran. So during the day, when we are not doing any mental activity, when we are repeating those names, what is happening is that the repetition of the names is happening by itself now. So when we sit to meditate, we are just totally concentrated on experiencing the divine light and not on repeating the names. So that comes with practice. So at times when we are not meditating is when we do the Simran, whenever we get a chance. And so the more we practice that, the better our meditations get. So the key is not to just come and, I'm going to spend time to meditate, and you're working like crazy, you're doing this, searching on Google, and you're doing that. So now it's my time to meditate. You need to plan beforehand. You need to understand that meditation is like a time for you to perform. And so you need to back up that performance with practice, so that all the basic things that are needed, just to sit erect, okay? Just to sit like with no stress, just to be able to focus your eyes properly, so that you're not raising your eyeballs and creating a headache for yourself. All of those take practice. And those things happen before you start to meditate, because when you're meditating is the time when you're performing. And so the key is to be able to put in the effort at times before the meditation. And when we do it on a daily basis, we'll find that our meditations will get better. When we hear about the musicians, and some of the great musicians in the world talk about practicing 12 to 14 hours daily. And these are some of the top musicians of the world. And then only they can perform so well. So look at it. They perform maybe once a week, once a month, or they give a show here and a show here and a show here. But then they practice 10, 12, 14 hours every day, so that their throat is well, they know all those other things they need to do, and so then they can perform well. So similarly, when we meditate, we need to be able to be in a state where the ethical virtues are inculcated in our day-to-day life. Then there won't be any disturbances when we meditate. So we do Simran during the day, so that as we are meditating, all of our attention is in watching the light and not in repeating the names, so that we're totally concentrated. And these are the keys so that our meditations get better and better. So let us meditate for a few minutes. Please sit as comfortably as you can. Close your eyes very gently, just like you close them when you go to sleep. Your eyeball should be straight, focus 8 to 10 inches in front of you. And as you close your eyes, those of you who have been initiated in the mysteries of the beyond, please do your Simran. And those of you who are new here, please repeat any name of God that you feel comfortable with. this repetition of God's name should be done mentally and not out loud. So I pray to God Almighty to help each and every one of us here connect with the divine power then and experience the divine light and its effulgence. We'll be sitting for a few minutes. I'll be getting you out of this meditative state at that time. And my best wishes are with each and every one of you.
छोड़ दीजिए जी।